into there.
Both at the same time?
Put them there. You go. Now you take them in, this guy right here. Upside down like that and stir it up. Stir it up like that.
In here?
No, up in there.
That makes some sense. What's up, guys? Here at Mayday for our live show today. Here with Ozzy.
Making a rye IPA today.
Smells good.
You got it all stirred up there. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, we'll stir it again in a couple of minutes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I want to do it live.
Okay, do it.
What's up, guys? Welcome into another edition of Beerside Chats. We are joined by Justin Bradford and Ozzy here at Mayday Brewery.
And me.
And Brandon.
I'm also here.
And I'm Bobby. It's great to be back. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great, nice and steamy, but ready to enjoy some beer.
Ozzy, how are you doing, man?
Rocking it today, man. Getting it done.
Yeah, this is a great place.
Super appreciate you having us, man. We're
Thanks
glad
for
to be
coming
here.
out. Thanks for coming out and sitting in the corner.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Sitting in the hot corner.
Where the magic happens? Absolutely, anytime.
So before we start talking a little bit of hockey, start talking some beer, Ozzy, when did Mayday come about? How long have you guys been here?
We got here at 8 this morning, but we started in 2012. 2012. We end of 2012, so we've been going. Next year will be our 10th year.
Awesome.
So,
Cool. So let's jump straight into this. You guys know how this works. We were told a little bit about the beer, then we talk a little hockey. Ozzy, why don't you tell us about this special sour? And I think Justin's got something a little bit different than us.
yeah, y'all have the Trop Top, which is tropical sour. It's got mango, lime, and pineapple.
That's fruity. I like that.
And
It's not super sour,
Yeah.
which I do like.
yeah,
so-
it's 6% beer. It's out in the marketplace in cans. We just released it last week. It's a really pale beer, easy drinking, sour. Looks very pretty.
Oh, yeah.
And,
yeah.
Gorgeous. What does Justin have here?
Justin has a blend that we do at the bar. It's called the Triple Threat. So we take the sour that you two have, as well as a mango shandy and the Little House on the Berry. So it's got berry, it's got mango, and it's got just a little bit of the sour on top. So you got sweet and sour.
So he got
and
three
see how he's loving it. Look
So
at
he
his,
got 3 beers and we just got the one.
It's
That
delicious.
is-
It's smooth. It's delicious. You can taste the hint of fruit. You can taste the mango as well. Like on the back of the throat, you can taste that mango. I love it. This is great.
Yeah, when I'm told it's a sour beer, I'm kind of like, oh, let's see. But it's
No.
not too sour at all. This is exactly like this is probably the best sour I've had.
I would buy a 6-pack of this and drink it, no problem. I have a buddy that will always, not him, always get me a sour beer when he's buying the rounds of beer, just because he knows I hate him. I'm going to tell him I hate this, and then maybe he'll buy it for me.
That's a good strategy. Kelsey, my daughter, Kelsey is she's been the brewer here for 5 years, and she has a master's degree in biology, and she's a super good brewer, and she makes some great sours. She makes good sours. I don't drink a lot of people's sours, but her sours I never have a problem with.
I don't like it to make
Get
you
crazy.
grit your mouth a little bit, but this doesn't
We
do
want
that
you
at
to
all.
drink the beer, so you'll buy some more. That's the strategy,
Smart.
man. Business.
Not everybody's me and Bobby, where we're just going to drink it if you put it in front of us. Oh, this is so gross, and just keep drinking it.
Well, hopefully, none of these are like that.
No, I'm sure.
So we're in the middle of the off season right now. Camps are about to rookie camps are about to start opening. Why, Justin? A lot of guys right now in arbitration. Even here in Nashville, Saros is heading to arbitration. A lot of people, especially on Pred's Facebook, see arbitration as this very scary, he's being greedy. Is arbitration as scary as it sounds? And in regards to Saros individually, what terms should both sides be trying to avoid in his situation?
So arbitration, part of the business. It's just one of those things that happens when players are young to try to figure out where they're going to be at in their career. You're going to figure out what you think they're worth, the term, and both sides are going to have 2 different ideas. And it happens all the time. When you start to worry is when you have a player that isn't arbitration eligible and they're not signed going into camp. Like an Ellie Tolvanen, He's not at arbitration levels yet. Not saying to get worried or anything like that. It's going to get figured out. But with Saros, they're going to come to a deal. They know he's the future for the next at least 3-4 years while you're waiting for Askarov to come over. But the thing with Saros is they're going to come to some conclusion. I highly, highly doubt it's actually going to go to arbitration. But they're going to figure something out because they've done it already with Dante Fabro. They got that figured out. I think his deal was overall fair. A little high, but overall fair. Saros, I think you want to be looking at a 4 or 5 year deal and probably something, I'd say at least 5.25. When you see what some of these other young goalies have gotten, 5.25, 4 or 5 years is really what he is worth right now, but I think probably going to go up a little higher with salary if it's a shorter term. I think that's what you're going to see come out of the Predators, just given what Shesterkin has gotten. Some other of these goalies have gotten as well, too. So that's what I think is going to happen. We'll see if it does.
The NHL, like you said, it happens a lot. NHL uses arbitration quite a bit.
Yes.
If it was a different sport, it would be a little more worrisome.
Right.
Whereas the NHL kind of uses that arbitration a lot more frequently than other sports.
Teams are going to lowball. Players are going to highball. It's just the natural way of what you do to try to come to a compromise. It's trying to find the right deal, and it happens in all sorts of businesses. This is just put on a pedestal because it's millions of dollars in professional sports.
Does it generally, do both sides generally come out happier after the arbitration process than if they would have got it done before? Or is it lean one side or the other?
I think it depends on the player, their personality, their agency, who represents them as well, because there are some agencies, that a little more harsh with how they deal with things.
Drew
maybe,
Rosenhaus types.
Right, or maybe they put out a graphic with a sword going through the back of a goalie.
Who would do that?
Who would do something like that?
Who would do that?
But yeah, it really depends. I think overall they're just trying to find a fair deal, and so people think, why isn't this team paying the guy what he's worth? Like, they want to, but they're going to lowball because it's a business.
They've got other guys they have to pay.
Yeah,
He's not the only one there.
Sports is a business. It's going to happen.
I mean, interrupt.
No, you're
I'm just
good.
done
You're
with
good.
my beer, and I'd like to be introduced to another so I can start it.
Yeah.
So why don't we move on to the...
And meanwhile, I need to check the temperature right
Go
behind
for
us.
it.
We're actually brewing a beer right now, so we have a small batch beer. We have here at Mayday, we release at least 2 small batch beers every week. So we have a new beer every single week, whether it's a sour, an IPA. We're doing a rye IPA right now. So we keep the new beers flowing.
All right.
So we're brewing almost every day, either on the big system where we do 1,000 gallons, or on the small system where we're doing 14 gallons.
Okay.
So we do 14 gallons. It lasts for about a week, and then we're moving on to the next one.
All
So
right.
right now I'm checking the temp on this guy.
So
We're at about 72 right now. So we got about 4 or 5 more degrees, and then we need to transfer it over, but we're good.
I was just about to say 4 or 5 more degrees. That's
Somewhere in the 65 range is where we want to transfer over and pitch the yeast. So it was boiling, now it's cooling.
This is the Angry Redhead. You want to tell me a little bit about
Yeah,
this?
the
and
Angry-
then you can pick one of
Absolutely.
Justin's.
The Angry Redhead is it's a little bit of a malty beer. So we have, and it's got a good bit of hops to it also. It's a 5-point-something% beer. It's a really nice, easy drinking beer. One of our best sellers here at the brewery. It's nobody complains about it.
It's a good beer.
It's a beautiful malty beer if you want something.
This is
a
one of
little bit-
your original
Yeah.
beers that you guys have.
Yeah.
Right? I've been drinking this for quite some time.
Absolutely.
It has been
Yes.
good since then.
Yes.
So.
And we put that in cans. That's in your neighborhood grocery store. If it's not, then ask.
Get a new
ask
grocery
your- You can always ask for it too.
you got one over here.
always
You
ask.
want to tell us a little bit about? I guess Justin, why don't you pick one?
Let's go with the Lemonade Rattler.
Oh, the Lemonade Rattler is something we just have here at the brewery. What we do is we take the blonde and we lemonade it.
Okay.
And so we have, so it's got a nice, it's a great summer beer, great summer shandy. It's
Perfect for summer.
It's sweet, it's lemonade, it's beer.
Yeah,
It's-
on a hot
it
day.
feels
this
good
is-
in your mouth.
It's
Feeling
easy
good in your
going
mouth,
down.
right, Justin?
It feels delicious in my
A
mouth.
summery blonde
Yeah.
always feels good on a hot day, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Had to do that one while the fiance was walked away, right? She ain't gonna watch this video.
So, as our viewers know, the Tampa Bay Lightning are back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. Justin, let's get way too early 2022 Stanley Cup predictions. Who do you have?
Let's see. I'm still liking what Colorado has going on. Colorado's a strong team, plenty of good players. They made a couple of moves and adjustments and everything, but I like Colorado. Here's my underdog. My underdog pick, the Florida Panthers.
Ooh, I think he was the opposite last show. I think he said he wouldn't make the playoffs
this year.
Really?
I'm not high
With the
on this
moves they've
year.
made, and then you have Joel Quenneville as the head coach. Who knows? I mean, they
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who knows? They could come out
I
and be
know.
great.
Not to mention
I'm not
Joe
denying. and he really undersold my opinion on it. I said I would not be surprised if they came out and
Right.
were great. I just don't think so. For some reason, it's just that weird.
understand.
You know,
Not the Seattle Kraken. That is not the pick.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Oh,
They
that-
went a full different route than the Vegas Golden Knights
Yeah.
did for their first year. So.
Ozzy, are you a hockey fan?
I
dabble?
follow the Predators,
Okay.
so somewhat I know what they're doing.
Well, you got
I
an
don't have a
early-
lot of time. I listen to the talk radio, but I don't watch a whole lot. But I know what's going on.
Busy brewing. Busy brewing all the time.
I'm
It's-
busy doing a lot of
You're
things.
doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't ever stop that.
Well, I have a full-time job as well as the brewery, so I am working every day, and I have been doing that for 8 years.
Know that feel.
That's cool.
So Justin, you mentioned the Avalanche. Are we at the point to where? Because I'm very similar in my thought processes on that as well. Are we just at the point where every year we just predict the Avalanche until
It happens.
they win?
I think it's a fair prediction when you have Nathan McKinnon still in his prime, as well as other players in the team
Yeah,
still in
getting
their
Landeskog
primes.
back, I think, was probably the biggest, in my opinion, the
Right.
best move of the offseason.
Yeah.
Was them re-signing him.
And Mikko Rantanen, I mean, they have plenty of good players. Cale Makar.
Yeah,
I was about to
like I
say.
said, I said Cale Makar.
So-
I think I said on this last episode that I believe, and it's a kind of a hot take. I believe Cale Makar will one day be known as a top 3 defenseman all time in the NHL.
That's not a hot take. Oh, wait, all time?
Yeah. No, that's a hot take.
That is a hot take
And I think
there.
we even
Yeah.
bet on
I
it.
was like, you
I was
want to
waiting- I
water
was waiting to let
bet?
him finish.
And he was like,
listen,
sure, no, you said he was going to win like at least 3 Norses.
Okay.
And we water bet that. So
That's a little bit different than all time, I think. Yeah, but
It is a little different, but now you're locked into all time.
I'll stick by it.
Okay.
Listen, he
Okay.
passes the eye test,
He's
the
really
smell
good.
test. I love what I see, and as long as
you
you
smell
What does it
it?
smell like?
like strawberries, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly what a top 3
What is he-
defenseman of all time should smell like, in my opinion.
What
Oh,
was it?
there,
What
yeah.
was it that you said? We were laughing at my joke. On
Oh, yeah, I said what he smelled like. I said like strawberries, just like a top 3 defenseman of all time should smell
Huh.
like. But
It's
yeah, I mean,
intriguing.
I think his biggest thing will be father time, injuries, and avoiding lockouts and seasons
Oh,
like
yeah.
last year's. I think those are the 3 things. Just like that kept Alex Ovechkin from goal scoring. I don't think Cale Makar is going to keep Cale Makar back.
No,
I think
no.
him, as long as he stays with a decent team, he could go down as all time. But as far as the Stanley Cup predictions, maybe my underdog pick is not as underdog, but I think the Islanders are going to be in that
I
final.
was just going to mention them, too. They have a very good team. Very good team. Barry Trotz is doing some darn good things
Yeah.
with the Islanders.
But let's move on to another beer. I've got the Borough Blonde. I don't know who else got the Borough
I do
Blonde.
as
Let's
well.
talk a little bit
He
about
does,
the Borough
and then
Blonde.
I get to dig into mine after he introduces
The Borough
that.
Blonde is our it's our best-selling beer. It's our best-selling beer out there in the world. Probably not in the tasting room, but close. It's our flagship, pretty much, beer. Borough Blonde has been here since day one. 4.2%, super easy drinking beer. We're proud of that beer.
Yeah, I love that beer.
It's
It's
really
a
It's a
good.
classic.
yeah.
It's a go-to.
yeah.
A
Well,
lot of bars have it. It's always people
remember
say, "Yeah,
being
I
in-
try this and this and this," and then I just go back to the blonde. Man, it's kind of a, it's fallback.
You can sell non-craft beer drinkers on it.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
more of a.
I remember
wanna
being in
try-
Dallas for the Winter Classic, and we went someplace, and they had the Borough Blonde there in Dallas, and I was excited to see that. Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know how they did that.
Yeah, I remember it was Mayday Borough Blonde.
We've had tons of Borough Blondes, but when you're in Dallas, you're like, hey, gotta get my
I have
my
no
beer
clue.
here, man.
No clue how they did that, but way to go for them.
Yeah.
I'll probably never get the keg back.
It was cans.
It was in a can?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Even
That
better.
makes it better.
No, you don't even need the keg
That means I
back.
don't have to worry about it. That
But it
keg's
was-
expensive.
They're just
It was
smuggling
pre-
Borough
it-
Blondes down to Texas.
Well, it was pre-new cans. Too,
I love
think.
that. I love that.
Daddy's Money. Tell
Daddy's
me about
Money.
Daddy's Money. Because I don't have any of that, but I'd like to know a little bit.
Daddy's Money is our best-selling beer here at the brewery. Everybody loves Daddy's Money.
Oh, yeah.
It's
This
a
is-
hazy IPA. That lost the haze on that. Gravity takes its toll sometimes.
We'll edit that in after post.
There you go.
We'll
That's
get
what
a-
we should do. It's a little
It'll
bit
be a little
cloudy.
blur.
It's a 6.6% beer. My two daughters work here at the brewery, do major functions here. My older daughter Ashley does all the not social media. She does all the administrative stuff. She works with the government and contracts and vendors and does journal entries and anything to do with taxes or anything like that. My daughter Ashley does that. My daughter Kelsey, they're 1 year apart in age. I'm not going to tell you how old they are. They'd be mad at me for that. So Kelsey brews the beer. We talked about that, and here comes the train. And I knew that was going to happen.
Hey, magical
That's okay.
live radio. Not really live, but live recorded.
They've been working on this beer, and they said, "Daddy's money." That's
You're
got to be
making it
the
with
name
Daddy's
because they're making it with Daddy's money.
I love this beer, man. I'm a big IPA guy. I am a big fan of this beer. I should have got 4 of these, if we're being honest. I mean, I'm going to try the other 2.
You really like the sour though.
I did like the sour.
So
We like a lot of beers.
My picture is on the can, so
we
that's
saw
kind of
that
makes it
earlier.
cool. Kind of a 50 like Grant. Yeah, me like Grant. I like
It looks
that.
cool, yeah. Oh yeah, you looked real suave in it too.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this guy, he doesn't run a brewery in Murfreesboro. He is up in the 50th story in his penthouse.
Yeah, that's where I am. Yeah.
Overlooking, NYC or something. That's
No.
what I was thinking.
I was wondering what city you were going to go with.
Yeah.
I was like, you thinking about
going
it.
with Hendersonville.
Somewhere where I'm not sweating. Right?
We're gonna go to somewhere cool for the summer. You know how most people
Exactly.
winter down here. We're gonna actually go up north.
Yeah.
Sault Ste.
So
Marie.
we have the Daddy's Money's a hazy IPA, New England style. It's got a lot of late hops with the Mosaic and your typical hazy IPA stuff. 6.6%, so still easy drinking. It goes great with food, pizza, which we serve here at Mayday Brewery. Goes great with pizza. That Daddy's Money.
That's a big
Big
litmus test for beers for me, is going good with both pizza and if it goes well with wings. Those are the 2 foods that beer has to go with to get like an
100%.
A grade.
Yeah.
But let's move on. So the development camp has just started for a lot of teams. I know for the Preds. Justin, what are some things at development camps that the pro scouts and coaches are looking for that may be different from what fans are looking for in a lot of aspects? Obviously, the fans like goals, scoring, how fast are you, stuff like that. Obviously, for young guys, there's a much different thing that coaches might be looking for.
Right. So for this one especially, what they're going to be looking at, they didn't have a development camp last year. So you have all the 2020 picks. That this is going to be the first time, well, for fans seeing them. A lot of scouts have obviously seen them, have been looking at them play, but a lot of these guys didn't play all last year. The OHL didn't play a game. Everything was really limited in a lot of ways because of the pandemic and everything. So this is an opportunity for them to really truly evaluate how they mesh in with the team system. What they're going to be looking at are hockey IQ, how they react to coaching, how they do all those things. It's not always scoring goals. We've seen plenty of guys score goals in rookie camp or in development camp, and they don't even make the team. That's not what it's really about. It's about how are they adjusting to the system, how they're going to be a pro. They want to look for potential. They want to look for how they're adjusting to things that coaches are telling them. Are they doing those things right on the ice that they might have been talked to about yesterday? If they're doing that, that's the positive there. It's not all about scoring goals or making those pretty passes. It's, are they covering the defensive end very well? Are they covering the points really well? Are they adjusting really well? Are they working on their skating? That's one of the things that so many young players have problems with, is their skating as well. You see that, especially later round picks, is their skating. So all those things in development camp, that's what they're looking at, are those little things that players can do to increase their potential every single year, and that's what's going to help them make the pros.
Essentially, what you're saying is, can this player, because they made it to this level, they can probably all score goals. At some level, they've probably scored
Right.
goals. Can they develop and get into a role within their team?
Yes.
You know, and be able to accept that, hey, you're not going to go in and score 30 goals.
Right.
We need you to play fourth line and be
Exactly.
nitty gritty and be able to take on that guy and check, throw a hit, It's okay.
Yeah, 100%, because you'll see guys that are playing the fourth line in the NHL, but in junior hockey they put up 40 goals in 40 games.
Yeah.
But that's just the natural thing. If you were going to make it to the pros, you were dominating in junior or in college typically. But pro sports is something different. It's how do you adjust. Same thing with football, right? College football is taking a huge next step of, you're going to get open against other college athletes, but are you going to get open against a pro cornerback? Are you going to be able to run the ball against a pro linebacker or a pro line? No, not all the time. So it's that making sure that they can take that next step.
You can throw, or Jamarcus Russell, you can throw the ball 70 yards, but that's about it. Like, it's super cool that you guys keep telling us. He threw a ball 70 yards off his knees. You don't throw off your knees a lot in the NFL.
Right.
So you need
Patrick
to be
Mahomes
able to-
may.
Say what?
Patty Mahomes may do that every once in a while, but
Maybe
that's about
so.
it.
Maybe
Yeah.
so.
So I think none of us have any more matching beers. So
I wanted to say, wait a minute. I think, and this may be, an amateur, but when I look at it, it's getting the puck through the neutral zone, man.
Yeah.
You've got to get the
We
puck
agree.
through the neutral zone.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
is a focus. I think that and it's an art.
yeah,
Zone
100%.
exits, zone entries, that's crucial, especially for a defenseman. It's like, are they going to be able to carry the puck, or are they just dumping it to get rid of somebody else, or are they getting clogged up in the neutral zone? You make a really good point.
Yeah.
You seriously do, because
yeah.
forwards and defensemen have to be able to make that mesh, make that happen. Are they going to receive the pass very well from the defenseman and then enter the zone? The neutral zone is a very key area for any player with that hockey IQ.
And that's one of the reasons why Roman Yossi is so good. I think there was like a bar graph or a stat graph of Roman Yossi, like how often he takes out of the neutral zone, and he's way up here compared to almost all the other defensemen in the leagues. Now that could also be that he's just so much better than everybody else on the team. But yeah, so that's one of the reasons why he is a Norris Trophy winning defenseman.
He's pretty good.
Is he?
I've heard he's
he's somewhat
decent.
good at hockey.
He
Guys.
may not be top 3 ever like your boy Kale.
Yeah, he does pretty well in beer leagues.
He looks good and he plays good.
Yeah,
I mean-
100%.
Well, the Preds really, it's such a good point, because the Preds really, early on when they were having their struggles last year, that was one of the main key points where we struggled. We couldn't score goals because we couldn't get it close to us.
Yeah, you couldn't get in your own zone.
So moving on to a couple more beers now. I think we all have different beers now. So why don't we start over here? I've got the barrel aged porter, which I'm a huge porter guy. I'm so excited for this beer. So tell me a little bit about this porter.
That beer, we don't distribute any of our barrel aged beers because we have about 8 barrels.
That's good.
So that is Maker's Mark barrel. So we have a porter. I think it was 6 point something percent in the barrel for 18 months. That's been in the barrel, and so that's a really nice,
a good beer.
really nice beer. We've got another one in a Buffalo Trace barrel back here. We'll do 3 kegs out of that, and then we'll fill some more kegs up. Actually, we have your next beer, not your next beer. It could be your next beer.
Inner Sanctum.
Little House on the Berry.
Okay, I'll try this one.
We've got that in a wine barrel back here
Oh.
that we will release later on this month. The Little House on the Berry. So it's a kind of a berry blonde. It's a little bit of a fruity blonde. You had that in your triple in your triple threat, and so we'll be doing that. It's about 5% beer. Be doing that coming out of the barrel, so it should be really nice.
And which one? What are you doing next?
Let's go with the cultural distancing.
Oh yeah, the cultural distancing.
We tried that one too, didn't we, Bobby? We tried that one on the podcast.
Oh
a couple
yeah,
weeks
that
ago,
was a good one.
Yeah, it's available in cans out there, and it's I want to say it's a 5 point something percent beer. Really nice, easy drinking summer beer. You can drink that after cutting the grass. It doesn't really have the bite of the Borough Blonde, a little bit less hoppy than the Borough Blonde, but it really goes down easy, light beer, very, very easy drinking, nice beer.
It is 100%.
So Ozzy, obviously, Murfreesboro, Rutherford County is starting to come to somewhat normalcy as long as Delta doesn't, rear its head up.
Yeah, for sure.
How was obviously the closing down and the pandemic with a profession where a lot of people are hands-on, where you're dealing with the product so much? Was that you guys shut down for a long time?
We were shut down for 6 weeks, and during that time we delivered beer. We did curbside stuff. We did all we could to, keep some revenue coming in. We did the best we could with it, and we learned a lot. I wrote a lot of thank you notes to people that would order $40 or more of beer. I'd write them a personal thank you note, mail it to their house, because now I had their address, because we've been to their house and delivered it. And and some people that found us during the pandemic have just kept coming back, and some of our best customers now come in 2 or 3 times a week. So that's kind of, it's all about family, community here at Mayday. That's what we do is make friends, love the people.
On the show, Brandon and I, we like to consider ourselves beers connoisseur, but here at this table, obviously, you're an actual beer connoisseur. So what are some things that you look for in your preference of beer, and what is your what's your favorite beer of all time, and what's your favorite beer here at the, like, what beer got you into the beer game?
Oh, that's all good questions. I don't drink a lot of beer that's not mine. It's because I'm here, I drink beer, I go home, and I may have one beer. I don't drink a lot of beer out. I don't.
It's like you don't want to take your work home.
Yeah, I just...
It's like if you're a gynecologist, you go home and you're like, oh.
Oh, God.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm talking about you don't want to put a mask on. What are you guys talking about? Because you're doctors.
Sierra Nevada Pale Ale kind of got me into brewing. So
Okay.
I love that beer. That's
Sierra Nevada
always
was once upon a time was a sponsor of the show, and then COVID hit. My cousin, is one of the distributors for Sierra Nevada, so we've had a lot of Sierra Nevada there.
Yeah,
They've
Sierra
got a pretty
Nevada
good,
Pale Ale is a fantastic beer. I love that beer, and that kind of got me into brewing. But it's all about people. The beer business is all about people. And so we love the people. I try to learn people's names, know people's names. I teach my bartenders, do the same thing. Love the people. You never know where they come from when they come in here. Love that person.
That's awesome.
It's almost like church. We're right next door to the church. We want to be better than them.
Well,
as far as loving the people, man, that's what we do here. We wash your feet. I clean the bathrooms. I clean up after you. That's what I do. Wash your feet.
Well,
I'm not going to wash your feet right now, Brandon.
Please don't. I don't like feet at all.
Oh shit! Is that okay?
Yeah.
That was the.
We might have had a lighting change here.
We're looking good.
Is it okay?
We're all good.
Uh-oh.
I forgot about
Still
that.
looking good?
All right, guys.
32
we're back.
ounce.
But
Doing yoga. Not us specifically,
bit
but
of a
somebody
lighting change.
is.
So obviously the expansion draft, the expansion draft did happen, but the regular NHL draft happened a little bit ago. Where would you grade the Preds draft, and who do you think had the best draft overall in the league?
Ooh, the best draft is going to be really difficult just because I was so hyper-focused on the Nashville Predators. I think the Red Wings have pretty good just because they have picks. When you have picks, things are happening. Who didn't have the best draft, who really just pissed me off, with Carolina Hurricanes, who kept taking timeouts.
Wow, so it's funny because I've written down here, I actually picked the Hurricanes as having the best draft because when you don't have a first-round pick, I thought they got a really good value for the picks they got.
But they kept taking timeouts, and it didn't go so long. I was sitting at my desk for 7 hours.
So
for the second to start the seventh round. It's a personal thing.
This is like your job.
So
you weren't prepared for this?
So the Carolina Hurricanes got an F as drafters, but their draft was actually pretty good. I didn't get time to actually watch the draft. I was driving, so I'm just seeing the picks after the fact.
I was sitting down from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. The second day of the NHL draft is typically 3 to 4 hours. This took 7.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference.
Which is funny considering they didn't have a first-round pick, so they had plenty of time to get ready for their picks.
It wasn't like new people that were rolling in and they had to do new research,
so
right?
what was unique about this draft, though, as most probably know, a lot of the scouts weren't able to scout these players just because they weren't playing. So everyone's boards were just completely different. You had guys dropping 50 spots or jumping 50 spots in this draft, and that's why timeouts are happening, because they're like, oh, our guy's available. We didn't think he was even going to be there. He was our first-round pick, but he's still here in the second round. We should take a timeout and see if we can make a trade happen. That happened so much, you could easily tell that's what was happening. No one knew where to rank these guys after the top 3 players. For the Predators, I give them B+, A-, somewhere in that range.
I had A- for them.
Yeah, because the Svechnikov pick is great. I like how they're just trusting Russians again after they got burned with the Alexander Radulov thing many, many years ago. But then the Zachary Haru one, I might get my French going. The Zachary Haru one.
Oui.
Yeah. They traded up to get him in the first round. And I'm not saying I really love the pick. I like the pick. I don't necessarily like it as a first-round pick. But he is one of those players. The Predators have been really on. We need to get tougher to play against. Well, he obviously makes the Predators more difficult to play against because he's a rat. He's an ass on the ice. He does everything you need to do to be difficult to make other players hate you as well. And they've already signed him to his entry-level contract already. And then plus you saw some good players from later in the draft, guys that Ryan Uthko is one of those players as well that they're talking about. He could be the steal of the draft because he dropped like 70 spots from where a lot of people had him ranked. He could be one of those surprise ones out of this. But as we all know with drafts, you get one player to go pro out of a draft class, that's really good. You get 2 to go pro, that is a fantastic draft class. So if any more than 2 come out of this class, that's incredible. Don't think that's going to happen. Really good for the pool, though, to rebuild that prospect pool that has been so just dry for so long. But I really like the prospect system the Predators have now. In the past 2 drafts, have really been able to add to that.
Because of the nature of hockey, as you just said, is it a lot harder to really grade a draft?
It is.
When it happens, like
Yeah.
you can say this looks great on paper, and then in 3 years we're like, this is an F. Nobody ever made it to the
100%.
pros.
Especially with you have like NFL, where those draft picks usually they're on the field
They're
sometimes
playing.
at least
that
a little
year.
bit. At least a little bit.
Especially
You're gonna
usually
see a
first
little
round
bit.
guys are sometimes the starters that year.
Absolutely, yeah. So the NHL very, very different with that because we want to look 5-6 years later and then reevaluate the draft class. Like you look at the draft class of Weber, Suter, and Klein. To have those 3 guys come out of one class, and I mean Weber and Klein, where they were drafted, like okay, and they became NHL defensemen. And what Shea Weber became, that was a really good draft class, but you didn't know it immediately right then. So that's what you're going to want to look for, is to see a few years down the road who made it, who was mentally capable of doing it as well, because a lot of these guys they'll pooter out. Or they'll get to the AHL, to the minor leagues, and they can't adjust to pro hockey as well. That's why I like what they're doing with trusting some more Russians, because they're playing pro hockey in the KHL. They're playing against men. They're 18-year-olds playing against 23, 24, 25-year-olds, knowing how to play the body, knowing what it's like to get hit really hard, and also being able to utilize their skills on a bigger ice. So I like they're looking at that as well and trusting that these guys are willing to come over when they're able to from Russia.
And you've got to have, you've got to be somewhat decent of a high IQ. I mean, let's be honest here. The KHL, you're not just being a hockey player. You are really making sure you don't say the wrong thing, so you don't get a mob hit out on you.
Don't
like,
piss
so
off
you,
Putin.
you don't. It's like, oh, you're going to arbitration in the KHL. You're not coming out of that meeting room.
We're taking. Let's go. We're going to Moscow, buddy.
We're going to
going to the Kremlin. Let's go. We'll arbitrate this, no problem. You're not going to get anything.
Yeah, your deal is the gulag. There you go.
Yeah. So moving on. We're on our final beer. Why don't you? What's your final beer you got there?
I got Going Comengo.
Going Comengo is another shandy. It's a little bit sweet. Mango, sweet.
You don't
mango,
you don't make this naked, do you?
We don't make it naked.
Okay.
But
You
we
can
never
taste
wear
the
underwear.
Oh, well, that's a given. It's a brewery. I didn't
love
either.
that.
There's a must to it.
No. That was a joke anyway. Yeah, the mango is just here at the brewery. We make that kind of on demand, and it's a nice.
I love that hint of mango.
4% beer.
So when he ordered that, you guys went and brewed it.
No, not really, but
Well, they had to
I
strip.
almost
They had to strip first.
it's okay.
They had to strip first, and then they made it.
Okay. Well, they have to.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
just
rule.
the nature of it.
I've got the Inner Sanctum.
The Inner Sanctum is another IPA. It's a West Coast IPA, so
Okay.
it's in your face bitter and
Oh, yeah.
7.8%.
I was thinking the Daddy's Money was mine. I think I like the Inner Sanctum.
Yeah, the Inner
Better.
Sanctum will don't do too much of that for sure. Lots of
I already
bittering
had 3
hops
before
and,
this started. Am I?
lots of bittering hops and
I love it, man.
and it's a nice malty bite. So yeah, it's-
Bobby would hate it. That's how I know.
I'm not a big hops guy, and that's the great thing. When we go out places, I'm a big porter guy. The darker, the better. He's a big
I'm
hoppy
not.
guy, so it's easy for us to kind of get our beers. But I've got the hard cider. I believe that's Cider Boys.
oh yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this one.
We I don't know much about the Cider Boys, but I know Cider Boys. We sell a lot of Cider Boys cider.
It's good.
and that's a strawberry, right? Or is that the?
I think it's I think it had the picture of the chocolate covered strawberry.
Oh, so it's like Cale McCarr.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we have
It tastes like Cale McCarr.
we have 24 taps here at Mayday, and we probably have 8 taps that aren't ours, and we do ciders, kombucha, and
So wait. This man invites us into his brewery. Sets us up, gives us free flights, and you get a guest tap beer?
I guess I did. I was busy setting up. I didn't read it. I thought it was a cider they made here. So you don't have to tell me too much about this one.
It's okay. It's
But
okay.
hey, you're the smart
We-
guy for knowing to sell this here because it's a good beer or a good cider.
We sell cider because people buy cider. I don't drink the cider because it costs. I have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So things I have to pay for.
Well,
I don't
now I
drink-
feel like a dick.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
you should. It's like 5 ounces of his profit margin just down the drain right there, Bobby. Wow.
All right, guys,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I am embarrassed.
I will see myself out, but.
Hey, finish this up first, though.
Huh?
Said finish this up.
All right, guys, it's been great talking to both of you. Thank you so much for having us here, Ozzy. It's a great place. It's a great beer. We look forward to drinking a lot more of this today and going on. Justin, did you have a favorite beer here?
I really like the triple threat. I think that was the one that you can only get here in-house, right?
Right.
Because you have to make it as a special concoction. I loved it. It's perfect for summer on a hot day, like it's Penn. The triple threat is the way to go for me.
Brandon, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's really a bit of a toss-up between the Inner Sanctum and Daddy's Money. I think it would have to be depending on what I'm doing. Like if I'm just wanting to get really drunk, I'm definitely going the Inner Sanctum, But Daddy's Money is really good. Both of those beers, I can't even choose. So I'm going to go with 2.
Yeah. Listen, all of these beers were great. They were all A+. I would give the hard cider maybe a C+.
Yeah.
Maybe a C.
Whoever made
Nice
it.
cover.
But at the end of the
That
day,
is
they're
a really,
fine.
really good cider.
yeah, it's a good
fine.
cider. But when it's put up against these juggernauts, I mean, what are we?
These are the,
what's it even
the
doing here?
champions of the beer game.
Yeah. So
They never stood a chance.
But at the end of the day, the barrel aged porter is so good and has such a unique taste compared to every other porter out there. So my favorite was the porter. But all right, guys, thank you so much for being here with us, and stay tuned this week for the episode coming out where we're sitting down with Justin Bradford and doing our regular show here at Mayday.
Peace.